Hi, welcome to Gridiron Gurus. I'm Travis Lazarczyk alongside Drew Bonifant for the Kennebec Journal and Morning Sentinel. Drew, thanks for being here.
Hey, absolutely. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a semifinal week across the state now. Everybody's in the playoffs now with the LTC finally joining the fun. We're joined this week by Cony High School quarterback Taylor Heath. Taylor, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You guys had probably the best finish in high school football in Maine in decades this past weekend, with your last play win over Lawrence, 28-27. Tell me about the 4th and 10 from the 20, the play, because from what I understand, talking to Jordan Roddy, the boy who caught it, he broke off his route, and you guys kind of improvised that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to run a 10-yard out on that play, but he improvised, as you said, and he ran kind of like a flag, and I actually didn't even mean to throw it to him. I meant to throw it to Eli Dutil, but somehow he ended up with the ball, and that's how it went.
Did you realize how close you were to getting sacked on that play?
I did not, actually. I didn't even see the guy that hit me after I threw it, so that was not fun.
And you were tripped up a little bit when you were scrambling around.
Yeah, that he came off the right guard. Yeah. He actually got my foot. I managed to get away somehow, and I threw it up.
What were the moments like going into that drive? What's Coach saying to you as you're getting ready to go out there? He was saying that he was telling you right from the beginning, before you took the field, if we score, we're going for 2 here.
Yeah. Before we started that 80-yard drive, he just told me that I need to calm down, calm my team down. We need to slow down, execute, make good throws, and we need to give the ball to our best receivers in space and let them go to work.
Any play stand out other than the game-winning one, obviously, on that drive?
2 plays. There was one play with Chad Bickford. He ran a slant, and I think that went for like 30 yards. We got it to the Lawrence side of the field. We had a little momentum going to that. And then Reed Hopkins, he had that 10-yard curl route on that third and 10, something like that. And he did tip the ball, but he managed to catch it. He got past the sticks, and that kind of led it.
Yeah, I think Bickford's was the second play of the drive, and you guys within 2 plays went from the 20 to just over midfield, which has to make you just breathe a little easier and go, okay, because I think you still had 2 timeouts at least at that point.
Yeah, we did. It created a lot of less stress after we got to the Lawrence side of the field.
When you lose to a team like you guys lost to Lawrence in the regular season by such a wide margin, what's the key to like just keeping your cool throughout the game? I know you were ahead most of the game, but when they take that lead, are you trying to tell some guys like, okay, don't worry about it, we've got this? Or
we had a pretty good game plan from Coach Lip, and our offense, we can get going pretty quick, and Coach called some good plays, and we came out with a W.
When to go to that final drive, when I was talking to your coach, he was saying that you had to do no huddle for a couple of those plays. And he says normally that's something you guys practice all the time. It's a good conditioning thing. And and he says that this year, just because of some youth and everything up front, you haven't practiced as much. So was it kind of like, okay, we have to kind of dust off this thing, and we really haven't had to work on that much. And how'd you kind of execute in that spot with kind of overcome that? Having not practiced it that much.
Yeah, at first we were kind of in panic mode because we were all running around and we didn't really know what to do. But we had a couple seniors on the line that kind of led it, and we had a senior on the wide receiver core that led it, and Coach Lip told me the plays, and I had to call them out, and we got ready pretty quick.
Yeah. Talk about this game coming up you guys have against Brewer. It's another team you played in the regular season. What are some of the keys that you're looking at?
We got to get the ball out quickly. They have a big, strong D-line, number 61, Lovekin. He's a good player. And we got to get the ball out quick. Our O-line has to have a good night. And we got to get the ball out quick, and we got to make plays.
When you look at it from the offensive side, what were some things you liked that you did well, that you did in that game, and some things that you would like to do better this time around?
We need to focus more on our running game. We need to establish a run game so we can get the ball out, have some time.
Yeah. They certainly have a good running game of their own. So.
Yes, they do. They're in the weight room, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole offseason, they got a big O-line. They got a good running back in Trey Wood. He runs hard, and he's tough to tackle.
What's your confidence like going into this game? Because a lot of people might have looked at the way the Lawrence game went during the season and look at the rematch in the playoffs and said, well, they could have stopped Lawrence in the first game. How are they going to stop in the second game? But you guys did. I mean, people might say that for the Brewer game. What's the team's confidence level like that this game can go differently than the first game did?
We're pretty confident. We just know that we have to come out and we have to play well against Brewer. Our mindset is that Brewers are our next opponent. We gotta play well to get to the next game, and we gotta be big and strong up front.
All right, looking at some of the other playoff games in the area this weekend, Drew, we have another game in the Pine Tree Conference Class B. Messalonskee upset Skowhegan last week, and now they're going to number 1 Brunswick.
Easy game, right? You know,
Yeah.
Brunswick. What have they done this year? No, it's Brunswick is regular season wise class of the conference, undefeated throughout the season. So it's going to be a huge test for Messalonskee, and Messalonskee has to be feeling really good about themselves to win that game against Skowhegan. And that conference is going to really have to be in bunches going into this game against the Dragons.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the Messalonskee guys at practice today, fullback Austin Pelletier and head coach Brad Bishop, and they both said, we just can't turn the ball over. When they've lost, that's what's been the problem this year for the Eagles. And said, they turned it over a few times early against Brunswick, and a good team like that doesn't need your help, really. And if they can hold the ball and, maybe get a stop or two, they feel like, they got a puncher's chance. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, you see Messalonskee a good amount of the season. Do you see this being kind of a match between two teams with even or with similar offensive approaches? Brunswick likes to run the ball. Messalonskee likes to run the ball. I mean, how do you see that kind of match?
Yeah, it's similar approaches, but just I think the talent gap is so much different between Brunswick and just about every team in the league. Taylor, you saw both teams this season. What's it like trying to stop this Brunswick machine?
It's tough, man. They're huge. Their O-line, they all get off the ball really quick. They got 2 wingbacks that are as fast as they can get.
Yeah.
I mean, in Hunter Garrett and Palizé.
Yeah.
Hunter Garrett, I mean, he's tough to tackle too. He runs fast.
Yeah. I'm sure looking at film of a team like that, it's just, all right, we stop one guy, they got 2 others who can just jump in and take his place.
But the team like Brunswick is kind of overcoming that Brunswick mystique, or that undefeated record and everything. Is that just kind of half the battle, and just being able to convince yourself that you can go into this game with a chance to win if you execute well?
Yeah, you just have to have a positive mindset. I mean, you're going up to a guy that's bigger than you. You just gotta, you just gotta be tough mentally. Okay.
One team, moving on to the Big Ten Conference playoffs, one team that overcame that mystique in the regular season was Madison when they beat Winslow and snapped the Black Raiders' 25-game win streak. Madison's going to have Winslow again this week in the semifinals, and Winslow has circled this game a long time ago and has been looking forward to this rematch to get a road game in the playoffs, which they haven't had in years. And it's a team that snaps their win streak, and they're going to be hungry and ready for it.
Yeah, and Winslow also has it's the whole thing of having been there and done it all these years in a row. I mean, playoff experience always plays a big part in the postseason, and now they got that in the corner going into this game. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, it's weird for a team like Winslow to be considered maybe an underdog and have a chip on his shoulder, but here they are. But Madison, to their credit, has been playing very well, and they have a lot of talent in that offense. And they didn't just beat Winslow because they got lucky. They're a good team in their own right.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting how when you get the familiarity too. It's okay. They meet for the first time. It's kind of how do these teams. What does Madison expect from Winslow? What does Winslow expect from Madison? How do they kind of deal with that? Now they have an idea of what each one does more, just haven't seen it.
Sure. Looking at the Campbell Conference Class D, a couple semifinal games. We got Winthrop Monmouth hosting Dirigo. That was one of the better games of the regular season.
Yeah, it came down to the last minute, right?
Yeah.
Before Winthrop Monmouth got the touchdown to put them ahead, and that's what Coach St. Hilaire was saying. I talked to him yesterday, and he was like, we know for a fact how good these guys are. It took everything we had to beat them. Now, that was earlier in the season when St. Hilaire said that the team kind of flipped the switch midway through and started playing a lot better. So, who knows if this is going to be another 14-6 game like that again, or if that was a reflection of where these teams were at earlier in the season. But it should be close. I mean, Dirigo's played a lot of teams pretty tough throughout the season.
Yeah, the other semifinal game in that conference, defending champion Oak Hill is playing at Lisbon.
And it's pretty much what you just said about Winslow, where it's tough to see Winslow being in that underdog role.
Right.
Oak Hill's kind of the same way, and again, you kind of wonder, is that, having been there and done that, trait gonna play big? Because even though Winthrop Monmouth as the 1 seed and Lisbon as the 2 might be the teams to beat, so to speak, it's tough to discount a team that's done what Oak Hill has done.
Yeah,
with the
won
coach
3
like
state
Big
championships
said.
in a row.
And so it's kind of that matchup of, is Lisbon ready to overtake Oak Hill like it did in the regular season, or does Oak Hill still have kind of that playoff moxie?
Yeah, Oak Hill head coach Stason Jessett loves playing Lisbon, where he kind of got his chops from the Greyhounds. And in the Little 10 Conference, they're finally starting the playoffs this week. We have number 1 undefeated MCI hosting number 4 Bucksport.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be. I mean, Bucksport got. I don't want to say they lucked in because they controlled it. I don't want to say lucked into the playoffs because they controlled the destiny, but they got the break with winning their game and with Mount View losing MCI just to kind of take care of that. And again, they played tough this year too. I mean, they've even the games that they've lost some close games, but MCI has been on a roll this year. They were on a roll right through the end of the season. It's hard to see them. It's hard to see them slipping up at this point.
Yeah, they've won 2 consecutive conference titles, and they're pushing to get back to the state game and maybe get over that hump this year.
And we've both seen him this year and seen Josh Bucher, that punt returner that they have. He's
just like when you return 7 punts for a touchdown, you're doing something right.
Those guys can just really turn a game by themselves.
Another team with a lot of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it for us this week. Taylor, thanks for coming in, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you for having me.
Next week, we'll be sure to come back and talk about regional finals. I'm Travis Lazarczyk alongside Drew Bonifant. You've been listening to Gridiron Gurus.